y'all? It's Joe Master Lee, and I'm all about helping you turn your passion into a business. Now, reaction videos are huge. It's a great way to build an audience. And I can tell you right now, K-pop videos are hot. So if you're thinking about starting up a channel or just creating a K-pop reaction vid in general, here are some tips that I learned along the way that hopefully will help you create better content.
Let's do this.
Now, I've actually made well over 50 different types of reaction videos for K-pop bands. And I actually have a dedicated channel called React to the K-Bang.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
Which has over 1,000 subscribers now, and I started up a couple months ago. It has about 200,000 views as well. So for a new channel like this, it's actually doing really, really well. But the thing is that this particular channel, even though it's monetized right now, generates the least amount of income for me compared to all my other channels. Which means that my wife and I continue to cover K-pop and make these reaction videos because we love it. That's really the only reason why we continue to do it. Now, for those of you who are curious about K-pop and how to make reaction vids for it, here are some tips for you, right? So the first thing I learned is that K-pop is not all the same. It's not just a particular genre of music. It literally means all the music that comes from Korea. Now, we may have a couple of K-pop bands that have become popular in the Western side of the world, which makes us think that's the only type of music that's created. But to think that BTS represents all of K-pop, you're not quite getting it. It's sort of like thinking like someone like Taylor Swift represents all of American music when there's huge genres out there that are actually just as big, whether it's hip hop or Latino music. American music is very, very broad, from rock to jazz to everything you could think about. So that's the first thing to realize. The K-pop fandom in general has actually its own distinct culture, and it's rooted in Korean culture. So the more you get immersed in K-pop, the more you can learn about Korean culture. And the key is to keep an open mind to that, because a lot of the fans are going to comment about that. You'll actually find there's a lot of people in K-pop that are very helpful and actually want to share with you a bit about their culture and their passion for K-pop. So in addition to K-pop fandom culture, there's actually a distinct culture for each particular K-pop band or individual as well. And these are things you may not even realize. For instance, in K-pop, each band has its own fandom that they oftentimes give a name to. That's why you have ARMY, which is the fan name for BTS, and the Blinks, which are the fans for Blackpink. There's all sorts of these interesting nuances of who has their own bias and who's the vocal lead versus who is the dance lead. And don't get daunted too much about this, but it definitely helps to read up on some of this history, just so you can kind of come in and not say things that are just so out of left field that it can either come across as offensive because it's so ignorant, or it can be easily answered by just watching a quick video or Googling something.
Now I get it.
Once you understand it, you start to actually really appreciate what you're seeing in the video. It makes a lot more sense. The tip I can give you here is just Google K-pop terminology, and there's a couple of interesting glossaries out there for K-pop. And like I said, don't worry about memorizing the whole thing, but if someone mentions the word bias or maknae or oppa, like words that seem to come up pretty often, you can at least now understand like, oh, that's what that means. Some of these words are Korean terms, while other ones are Western terms used specifically in K-pop. When you're making K-pop reaction videos, especially if you're reacting to music videos, just realize every music video is copyrighted. It's as simple as that. And in fact, K-pop music videos are instantly detected. So the minute you post up that video, boom, any sort of revenue you think you're going to be earning goes straight towards the copyright holders.
The struggle is real.
And honestly, it's very, very difficult to edit your videos to circumvent that. I tried all sorts of different ways to try to minimize the risk of getting copyright claim. And honestly, I just gave up on it. It wasn't worth the time and effort for all that additional editing. In particular, and this is a really, really important note, you want to be very careful about reacting towards anything that's broadcasted live on Korean television. There are some Korean television stations out there that are very aggressive about not just claiming the video and not just blocking the video, but also issuing you a strike. And strikes are dangerous because if you get 3 strikes, your channel can be taken down. And all it takes is for you to have like 10 videos that you do around a live broadcast of different performances, and boom, you're gone. So just realize it's very dangerous. Now you might look at a bunch of other K-pop channels out there or people who are doing K-pop reactions and go, well, they have their stuff up and it continues to be up there. Trust me, eventually the people that work at these companies will get around to every one of these videos. Just try to stay one step ahead is stressful, and just know that you can never beat the system forever. The other thing to be careful about is you likely want to avoid K-pop songs that are localized and distributed in Japan, because those in particular have much stricter laws. Like, K-pop companies actually tend to be much more appreciative and actually have a more strategic view about letting people react to their content. And that's one of the reasons why K-pop has become so dominant around the world, even though Korea as a country is significantly smaller than, let's say, compared to Japan, which has a much bigger population. And I would say J-pop today probably doesn't have as big of a Western audience as compared to K-pop. And that's mainly because Japan has much more aggressive laws about how they do copyrights. And they're much more aggressive about taking down and giving you strikes if you try to react to videos from there. A lot of K-pop bands will actually make Japanese-specific videos, and you want to avoid those. All right, so as you're making these videos, one thing I always notice by K-pop reactors is that they don't seem to take a lot of time in terms of really improving that thumbnail. And that thumbnail is everything. It can literally double the amount of views you can get. So take the time to try to get good shots of your face with expressive sort of, oh, or ah. And also in terms of the K-pop band, because a lot of bands are really, really big, like BTS, right? 7 members. There's even bands out there that have much bigger, like 10 to 11 members. You're never going to be able to fit all 10 members into a shot and for it to look good in a small thumbnail, in particular on a mobile device. So my recommendation is just take out 1 or 2 people from the lineup, zoom in much closer, because it will convert a lot better. I've done a lot of tests for this, and it always seems to work out better when you're able to zoom in on a couple of people versus just showing a whole lineup. Now, the other advice I give is, I think this is something that most people appreciate, although some people actually don't like this as well, but kind of comes down to your taste. And that is that if you want to add commentary to a video, you generally want to pause the video so that people can hear what you say.
Wow, you see that transition from an angel to fire, evil, or darker.
It's very difficult to listen to someone provide commentary while people are seen in the background. Or you could save your commentary towards the end. One of those 2 options will work. Try to avoid having 2 talking voices compete against each other. And my final 2 bits of advice here, right? Just be ready to have a lot of fans come in who are going to school you on 1 or 2 things. One is on how dumb you sound saying something that just you had no idea about, and the other fan base that's going to come in and comment and share a relentless amount of information about the group and the next set of videos for you to watch. K-pop fandom is one of the most powerful fandoms in the world. They're very passionate about what they love, and they're very happy to share it with you, or they're very happy to take you down if they're not pleased with you. Just realize that, and that's something you have to learn to get used to in your comments. And trust me, as you get better, as you do more K-pop reactions like we got into, we were very ignorant in our first couple of videos. We got much more knowledgeable, and people really started to appreciate that. So realize that it's actually very easy to turn around and win over the fans when you show that you have a commitment to really embracing the music and the culture and the country, quite frankly. So there you go, you all. I hope these are very helpful tips for you. If you also make K-pop reaction videos, or if you're someone who loves watching K-pop videos, leave some comments below. Share with me your thoughts on what you like, what you don't like, your rants and your raves. I'm very curious to hear about it, because I'm happy to make a part 2 to this video as well.
If you like this video, make sure you leave a like.
All right, you all. Peace out.